Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
Start the game off, you're going to put a little marker right here. I'll set him down so you can see on this track. It's the only time I'll ever be on the white part. You put 3 on the 3, 2 on the 2, 1 on the 1, etc. Everybody's going to take their moles, and your moles will have different numbers on between 1 and 3. So you have 2 2s, 2 3s, and 2 1s, and you can set them face down. And you're allowed to strategically place these down, and nobody will know which mole is at one spot. At the same time, your opponent will be doing the same thing to kind of complete setup. You have 2 things you can do on a turn. The first one will be optional. If you want to do this, you can roll the dice. If you see here, I got a 2 and a 2. So I could either place on the black 2 or I could place on the white 2. And the other die is used for the number of mobs. In this case, I could put out 2 mobsters into my car, maximum of 3 at the black location, or I could have utilized the white location and put 2 in the car down here based on these numbers. Let's say this number had been 1. And I wanted to use that white die, I could have only put 1 out. So the other die will be the quantity. The second thing you do, which is mandatory, you have to use this board over here. And you can take your workers and place it. Some of these spots require 1, 2, 3, or even 4 workers, depending on, or mobsters, depending on what you want to do over here. Each of these will activate the location to the left, and then you can activate any powers that will be here. So let me go over these really quickly. This one right here allows you to move. So if I was to place one worker here, I could move mobsters from one car to another car along my side of the board. If I were to put a worker here, I can take somebody that's in a car and drive them to the actual location. Normally, when you're at the location, you're safe from any take that or any way of fighting. This one down here allows me to switch somebody cars, and then I can drive them to the location. So change cars, drive to the location, switch cars, and drive to the location. So this location right here, if I was to go somewhere in here for 1, I could move one of my henchmen and move it to a different location. So that's what he's going to do. This one is going to allow me to move a cargo or contraband to a different location. Let's say that my opponent's winning here. I don't think I'm going to win this. Maybe I move it down here and kind of shift things up a little bit. If I were to go to this one, it would allow me to move the feds towards my opponent. So let's say this is me, this is my opponent, and it was here, and I placed a worker down. I would move him 1 step towards my opponent. I'll come back to the fed track, but just know this is how it moves it. Now, within this board, there's some other things. So you have a symbol here that has a crate with an arrow down. That means I can take a crate and put it out wherever I want. This one right here that signifies this one, allow you to move the fed in the location. And then you have the gun. What the gun is going to do, let's say your opponent has people out at locations like this. I can choose either the white or the red die, or the black die. In this case, there's 2 people on the white and only 1. So what I'll probably do is roll the white dice. And then if I roll a number where he has a person, all those people go back to the supply, not to his pool. If you roll a number where he doesn't have any people, then you simply got bad intel and nothing would occur. And the rest of these are pretty much the same. You're going to have the guns, which I showed you. Moving up on that track allows you to... This one right here is a little bit different. If it has like a star around it, it's going to allow you to look at somebody's henchmen, and they would have to put out those many henchmen. So now that knowledge being unsure, I now know how many people are there. So that's how that's going to work out. Everybody's going to have 20 mobsters that they can utilize for the round. It's going to be in their pool. And they can either use those on the random rolls, the optional thing, or over here. Once your 20 people are used, you're done for the round. And once both people are done, you'll move on to the next section. So let's say at the end of the round, we have something set up like this. The first thing you're going to do is everybody who's in a car will move into the center. If they're already in the center, they simply just stay there. So everybody's going to drive their car and finally end up at the location. Keep in mind there are mobsters with 3 heads on it. They count as 3, and you can make change at any point. So once everybody has moved in, you're done with that. Next thing is you will go ahead and activate wherever the DA is at. So in this case, they will have to reveal a mole, and you get to choose which one to reveal. Once again, they're going to put 3 people out, and now I have that little bit of knowledge. And have to put one out. If you're ever at the end of the track and you have to keep moving it, you get to take a cargo and just add it to your victory point pile without placing it on the board. Then there's going to be a shootout at each location. The moles do not count, only the mobsters. So there's 3 here, nobody here, nothing would occur. There's 1 here and 1 here, you always lose them 1 for 1. So there's 2 here, you would lose 2 here. There's 1 here, so he's going to lose 1. There is 4 here, and it says 3, so he's got 4, 5. So he's going to lose all of them, and he's going to lose 4 of them. And this guy has nobody to fight. So after you're done with the shootout, you prepare for the next turn. Any henchmen that are on this board will come back to supply. You're going to add 20 back into your pool, and you're going to do the same thing again for 3 rounds. Let's say this is a setup after 3 rounds. Then what you're going to do, when the game is over, you're going to flip these over, and you're going to count. So right now, this guy would have 4, he would have 1, so the blue teal player would grab both of these. These guys have no mobsters there, but he has 6 there, and he only has 3, so the brown guy would win this. Here, there's nobody there. He has 2, so he is going to win this. He would flip this over. It's 2-2's tie. Guess what? Nobody wins this cargo. Then over here, you have 2 versus 1. He would win. This has already been signified here, so let's see what we have. We have 2, so he would win. Count up who has the most contraband, and that is the winner of the game.